I want to get into the question of how does one go about building those hard to get, unique, very valuable, high quality, localized links? Guy, what do you do?
Well, there's a lot of different ways, but serendipitously, our good friend Bart Sinyard at Sinyard Law was recently posting about their support for a local barbecue establishment that had a devastating fire. And as I started to see some of the posts come out about this, I was clicking through links, and it became clear that there was another barbecue place called Lawler's. There was I think it was a food market in town. As I mentioned, the law firm were all rallying around supporting this barbecue place that had a fire. And so there was a GoFundMe set up. There were all sorts of community posts about this stuff. It's still early on, and so in the context, maybe we'll report back and see if it actually earned any links. But this is the kind of this leadership in the local community. Hopefully, it's obvious to you why this is valuable from a just doing good in your community standpoint. But these are the types of stories that get picked up by local newspapers. They get picked up by other local business leaders. They're writing about them and linking back to the story. They're linking, if you, there's a variety of different execution details in this that you might talk about if you're actually doing it for a link building campaign. This one is not an intentional link building campaign, but it's such a great example of great local leadership and the PR impact of that, and the indirect ancillary benefit that this is the kind of stuff that you can do to earn links and mentions in co-occurrences, if you want to get into that kind of nerdy stuff. And it also makes you feel good, and it's also really good from a good works in your community standpoint. So to me, some of the best local link building campaigns that we see and that we try to participate in are those that have a local community focus, that are, it's the doing well by doing good concept. That's the kind of stuff that people actually want to links to. News reporters, local journalists, Conrad's point about getting a link from the New York Times, that's great. Getting links from your local digital newspapers, getting links from local bloggers who cover your community, getting links from other business blogs, getting links from schools that are also supporting these local community initiatives. To me, that's the stuff that moves the dial the most.
So you said, and I'm going to take exception with one thing that you said. You said this was not, well, I'm not suggesting it's not true. I'm just suggesting it was misguided. You said this was not a deliberate link building effort, which I believe is the case.
I believe it is not as well.
Right. I'm not disputing that. Everything should be viewed through some lens of, is there a link opportunity on this? Your local engagement should be viewed.
Yeah, that's coming from an SEO agency owner, and I don't disagree with you.
Yeah. So everything you do, I remember you and I met up with Tim Semmelroth. We did I can't remember exactly which conference this was in. I believe it was
Advocacy 360.
There you
Tim
go.
had a
100%.
fantastic presentation.
He had a fantastic presentation. One of the slides, I took a picture of him speaking, and I've now added it to my basic marketing 101 deck that I give sometimes. When he looks for sponsorships in Iowa, he only considers local businesses where he can get a link out of it. That is the lens that he looks at.
That's hardcore, man.
It shouldn't be hardcore. It should not be hardcore. Well, if you care about SEO, you have a limited budget, you have a limited amount of time to spend on things in your community. I get that. 100%. Do those things that are going to turn, like, you can do good and be self-serving at the same time, and there is no shame in that. I guess I would qualify with this. I think when you're doing proactive link outreach and proactive link building, like you're trying to identify places that you want to do sponsorships with or co-marketing things, I think that totally should be part of your analysis. I just don't want it to be lost that some of these stories, it's not, you're not actually out there trying to build a link. You're helping something in the community, and that naturally people want to link to that. I get it. I get that. So let me take the barbecue story as an example.
Okay.
one of the things that's missing in the barbecue story, I believe this is a frequently failed opportunity for law firms, is, okay, I'm going to help the barbecue joint or whatever it is you might be involved in. Why is someone going to link? Who is going to link to my website, and why are they going to link to my website about that? Right.
And you got to put something on your site that's a linkable asset on your site.
So I call this anchor content. There's got to be something on your site that people are going to be like, wow, this is really cool. Now, I'm riffing on this. Is it an interview with the owner where we talk about the owner and the barbecue and the history of that? Is it a video that you put together about rebuilding the building? What is it?
Is it the place to collect donations?
Is it the place to collect donations? Great. Here's a great idea. Is it the place that you can collect donations, or that you can sign up to actually volunteer, or like there's got to be something.
Submit your user generated content here for the contest to win the thing.
Yes. That needs to happen, and we forget this component of it, and it's got to be compelling, and it's got to be unique, and it's got to live on your website. Otherwise, you're not doing link building. So it's interesting. I think I did this a little too late, but we have a beautiful and very empty office in downtown Seattle. It's been empty ever since COVID started. We don't use it. And I somehow ran into a lady who's trying to start a gift basket business. And so she now stores all of her gift basket equipment. I gave her the opportunity to just leave it in our office because there's nothing else going in the office. We used her to send out thank you gifts to our clients for Valentine's Day. So our clients are receiving a box of localized chocolates from the Seattle area and an explanation of how we're supporting these small businesses. What I should have done, Guy, I should have had her talk about her story, talk about the gift baskets that she's putting together, how it's localized. And I should have put that on our site as an example of anchor content that people might want to link to. And it's just a happy story. We didn't do that. So, eat your own dog food, but like you have to think about creating something that lives on your site and then encourage people to link back to it, or make it implicit in how to engage. Like, this is where we sign up for things. Like, I love your examples there. This is where you do the donations. This is how we submit X, Y, or Z. So I love that. One of the link tactics that seemed to be somewhat localized, that was overused. Do you remember the college scholarships? Right?
I still love scholarship link building, by the way.
So talk about kind of the low end crappy college scholarship link building, and then transfer that into how to do it the right way.
So the low end crappy scholarship link building is you have a general scholarship and you go out and do outreach to every university you can think of to get a link on their scholarship page, where there are thousands of other businesses and law firms doing the exact same thing. I think those links are largely valueless. And in fact, someone actually at some point showed an example of someone getting a penalty for doing link building like this. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a local community scholarship. Maybe you're giving scholarships and the only eligible candidates are people who are in school at a local high school. I've seen it done for in the name of an injury survivor or someone who has not survived an accident, those kind of things. I think where you can get an intersection of local community and topical relevance for what you do, those type of scholarships, they're supported by the local community. The schools get involved. Career services offices want to tell those stories. The local news wants to tell those stories. Years ago, there was a law firm did the Don't Go to Law School scholarship.
Right.
Those types of things get picked up not only by the schools themselves, but it's newsworthy and it's got that PR aspect to it. So that's what I would do. And to Conrad's point about the anchor content, the application for the scholarship is hosted on your site. And so people have to link back to your site to tell people that are reading the information about it where to go apply, and they'll link back to that asset.
And the issue here is this takes time. It is more expensive. It gets you more involved in the community. And as opposed to just blasting out the college scholarship to thousands and thousands of pages on which that scholarship will sit with thousands and thousands of other law firm links. I did find this. Google cites scholarship links in a manual action penalty. This goes back to 2021. So the scholarship concept done well, the way Guy just described, is getting involved locally. It is generating localized links, and it can really have an impact. Most of you guys are too lazy, and most of the agencies realize it's too hard to do profitably to bother doing it. But this is what we're arguing is a difference maker in localized SEO queries, period.
Yep. The other one that I think about a lot too, and I know that maybe there's a split of authority on this one because maybe some people will consider it great, but I love sponsorship links. If you're sponsoring local organizations and they put up a link up to say, hey, we want to thank our sponsors, technically someone might argue that those are paid links, right? You put money for a sponsorship and they put a link up, is that quid pro quo linking? Maybe in some contexts it is. But I just have a hard time believing that Google wants to go around penalizing people who are supporting local businesses, who are supporting local organizations, who are supporting local schools, and these businesses are linking to each other to highlight the the sponsors for their events and that kind of stuff. And so I'm still very pro on local sponsorship link building. What do you think about local sponsorships?
Hey, Guy, look, I'm 100% great. The right way to handle a paid for link is to put a no follow on it. So assuming that the local charity or whomever it is sponsoring is going to do a no follow, which basically says, hey, Google, don't take any link value from this because it was a paid link. Guy, do you believe Google doesn't give any value to no followed links from a local sponsorship?
It's funny because we didn't cover this in Myths Debunked because we didn't have enough time to, but that was on my list.
Okay.
Is I would say not to worry so much about follow versus no follow.
Yeah.
The language around this is that no follow has been a suggestion, but again, Google's a big data company. They are very focused on the resources. They index and keep track of no followed links. I would suspect that they are using them for some purpose, especially the ones that we're talking about. I would say that those are fine. I think Joy did a thing on this, so maybe we can come back and or give a shout out to her. But I am still pro on do not obsess about only focusing on followed links. Here's another local, I don't know how are we on time here, but another local link building tactic that I really like, and this is like more of kind of the old school grind type of link building, but it's the big category is broken link building on the local level. So how this works, you go find we've done this in the past where you find a municipality site, so it's like your city's website, or maybe it's your county's website, or maybe it's a local school. And you crawl the site with Screaming Frog. That basically, figures out if there are any broken links on that site. And what I mean by broken link is that site is linking to something that page that it links to no longer exists. So it's 404ing. And then you create whatever it was that was there, or maybe you make a better version of it, or you upgrade it, or whatever that resource, whatever reason that site was linking to that thing. You create that on your site. And then you go out and say, hey, you got a broken link on your site. I want to let you know we actually recreated this over here. If you update the link, it'll be helpful for people that are looking for this information on your site. When that happens, I can tell you that, especially with some of these local government, it's very difficult to get a local government site to link to a law firm website. But you can do it with this idea of broken link building because, again, the government doesn't want to go out and recreate whatever that resource was, but they do want the information to be available, and people don't want broken links on their site because there's a matter of site hygiene. That is a really effective way to do broken link building.
And if you're really lazy, go find the old piece of content on the Wayback Machine, throw it through AI, make sure it's accurate, and then republish it. Money makes a world go round. Money makes a world go round. Yeah, money make a world go round. Money makes a world go round. Yeah, money make a world go round.